12.1 PTR release candidate is now live. More 12.1 interesting stuff coming out. Also, ID verification coming to WoW. Oh no, it might be happening, and it is in fact happening for some players around the world. We'll get into that, as well as a closing to the story of the cheating GM. Let's dive straight in. 12.1 PTR now in release candidate, so it's looking more and more likely, boys, like that August 11th release date is in fact going to be the release date for 12.1. The reason why I say that is typically there's a 2 to 3 week window by the time the patch actually hits the go live, functionality on the PTR and when it actually does go live, and we're currently in that range right now. So yeah, August 11th looking more and more familiar, more and more of a real opportunity for that being the date that this is actually going to release. Also, another hint here that I'm going to talk about in a second of why August 11th looks like it's going to be the actual date. And that hint is the Tidebound Grotto. That's right. This is a single boss raid that is coming with the next patch, the next season, and now that has been added to the calendar on the PTR to be released on August 18th. So it's looking like we're going to have an August 11th release date. Turbulent Timeways also ends on that date, which makes sense again for a new patch drop. And then a week later, the kickoff of Season 2. Now, these aren't the only hints. As I said before, there's also the 8-week patch cadence, which also lines up with August 11th, and a post by Methods team on LinkedIn that was eventually deleted, stating that August 11th was going to be the release date for the patch. So, interesting stuff. Maybe those guys have insider information, who knows, but it looks like the Tidebound Grotto, as I said before, this is another, by the way, flex raid, 15 to 25 man flex mythic raid that we'll be able to do, and that release date for that has been put on the calendar as August 18th. So it looks like that is going to be the start of Season 2. So we'll have about a week to do story content, stuff like that, get a lay of the land for the new zone and everything, and then it's straight into the next season, kicking off on August 18th. Moving on, Mythic Venomous Abyss raid testing continues on July 24th. So that's today. Raid testing for the Mythic version of the raid has kicked off. You'll be able to test Cesarak on Mythic and the Twin Fang on Mythic. So if you're into raid testing and stuff, Mythic raid testing has continued here. Also, patch 12.1 development notes. We have class bug fixes for a bunch of classes. If I name your class here, there are bug fixes. I'm not going to go through every single patch note here, but if you hear your name called out right now, that means Blizzard just updated your class with some nice bug fixes. We have Restoration Druid. By the way, a little bit of a non-fix thing, but a nerf here. Regrowth for Resto Druids has been reduced by 20%. So there's a little of a balancing thing also thrown into these bug fixes here. Preservation Evoker is seeing fixes. For Hunter, we see Beast Mastery, Marksmanship, and Survival getting bug fixes. For Monk, it's Brewmaster and Mistweaver. Holy Paladins and Disc Priests also seeing bug fixes here. As far as PvP goes, they would like to speed up the gearing for players who are participating in late PvP seasons. So they are increasing the conquest gains from Spoils of War. This will activate partway through the season once conquest has become uncapped. Spoils of War now grants 50% increased conquest, was previously 30. So there you go, a little change there for PvP going forward, and all those other bug fixes for the classes. Now, speaking of other patch notes and changes, some quality of life changes coming to Ruby Life Pools and Temple of Sithralis. We've seen so many changes happening with these dungeons, and now probably one of the biggest ones. We all know Kakia Blazehoof. I like to call her the cock, running around with her Blazehoofs in the dungeon in Ruby Life Pools. She's got those giant boulders that have always been hard to identify where exactly they're going to go, eliminating party members, exploding all over the place. Well, those giant molting boulders are going to be a little bit easier to locate now. The location of the final explosion site for each of those boulders will now immediately show up when the cast begins. So you'll now finally be able to identify, guys, where these boulders are going and where they're going to end up before they explode. So good identifiers. Again, we have a lot of frontal cone identifiers now coming in this patch. Pathways, charges, stuff like that. Blizzard really working on making things more identifiable in the game, easier to see, easier to interpret. And this is another one. This was one of the harder, annoying mechanics in this dungeon, now made a little bit easier thanks to this change here. Also, Karaka and Urquhart Stormvine have increased time after the Karaka's land from the final phase before she can attack. Temple of Sithralis reduced the detection radius of the loose sparks to better match the visual For Avatar of Sothralis, Mistweaver's Way of the Crane can now target the avatar for healing when healing is not blocked by Defiling Taint. Defiling Taint is an interesting name for an ability, I will say. We are aware, they say, we are aware and continuing to look at issues for other similar spells. If you have encountered a specific healing spell with this issue, please let us know, Blizzard says. And then the Twisted Hexar. The Heck Monk ability reduced the periodic tick rate to every 2 seconds was every 1.5 seconds. So making that a little bit easier, a little bit of a nerf to that. Moving on to some interesting news that I know some people in this chat, particular people, are going to absolutely love. We know that pets are coming to housing, right? You're going to be able to launch your pets around in the house, have them running around and everything else. Cat ladies rejoice. Well, cat ladies rejoice even more, because internal decor items, you can now keep up to 10,000 decor items, and the number of pets has been raised from 10 to 100 active pets in your house. Yes, I kid you not. You will now be able to have 100 pets running. I don't know how the server's going to be able to handle this shit, but evidently 100 pets will be able to be unleashed inside of your home. So yes, every single thing that you possibly have in your bag, unleashed and released. Pets running all over the house. That'll be a thing for many people, I'm sure. And as I said before, I mean, yeah, cat ladies, 100 cats running around in your home. It's going to be something you'll absolutely love. And then the decor item release, 10,000. Yeah, great for anybody who's doing that kind of stuff in the housing shit. This is testable on the PTR, so if you want to get in here and actually see this, you can. Speaking of pets, Blizzard is capitalizing on a viral animal. That's right. If you don't know Jimothy, he is a raccoon out in Seattle here in the U.S. who has become famous for his odd look. Evidently, he was born with a defect where he has a short spine and he kind of almost looks like a different animal. He's got a little hunchback. He's an interesting-looking raccoon. Well, Blizzard released this on their Twitter just the other day. It looks like Jimothy is coming to WoW. That's right. We don't know how we're going to get him, what he's going to be available on. Is he a trading post item? Who knows? But the message just said, coming soon to Azeroth. You asked, and Jimothy answered. So yes, the short spine raccoon could be yours, another pet that you can release in your home if you want to. Again, not sure where he's coming from, but he will be joining us in the game. Now, this one's very interesting. New age verification required for some Battle.net accounts in the UK. That's right, age verification continues to spread across the world. Europe really leading the way with this one. It's controversial. It's not something a lot of people like, but it is a thing that continues to happen here. So we have age verification. To comply with the UK Online Safety Act, age verification may be required for some Battle.net accounts. Unverified accounts will have limited access to features such as voice chat, text chat, and any other social interactions with people other than their friends until verification is completed. For not all Battle.net accounts require this complete age verification. If you are in a region where the account does require it, this is what you have to do. Sign in, look at the age verification banner. If you need to verify your age, you'll see a banner explaining what the age verification is needed. Start the process, select verify on the banner. You'll be redirected to an age verification service. Select your method. You'll have to either give them your government-issued ID, a credit card check, or a mobile provider verification. So yes, ID verification on the internet. This shit continues, and it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Age verification is a nanny shit. Make parents act. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to fucking identify myself all across the internet. Part of the nice thing about the internet is anonymity. Not so you can be an asshole necessarily, but you know, we fuck around on the internet. Who wants to be identified with every single thing? It just feels like more government oversight and tracking and shit. No, I don't like this. Thankfully, I live in the U.S., so it's not something that's a thing right now. Hopefully, it doesn't become a thing. After you've completed your verification, you get your age verified. After completing the process, any age-restricted Battle.net feature will be unlocked automatically. This is weird stuff. I mean, look, even it was Roblox the other day was making my children take a picture of themselves to verify their age. I guess there's some sort of software in there that identifies the age of the person based on their picture. It's weird as shit because I really don't feel right taking pictures of my kids into an app. It's freaking weird. I've already seen plenty of stories out there where, hey, it turns out pictures of kids are being sent to fucking weirdos. So yeah, it is creepy. It is creepy. And it wouldn't let you play unless you did it. So there's weird stuff going on. I chose just not to identify their age, which kind of locked up some shit for them. I don't care. They can't chat on Roblox. Who gives a fuck? But it's there's weird shit going on, guys. So yeah, this continues to be a story. We'll see what else happens going forward. But yeah, UK, a bunch of UK accounts now need government-issued ID verification. Moving on. Blizzard confirms GM tools used in the recent cheating scandal has happened, and that player has been fired. That's right. The GM that was an employee at Blizzard has now been fired after the investigation that was conducted on the previous story we talked about, where a GM helped his friends finish out a dungeon by automatically offing a group of mobs, basically. So they had finished out the Mythic Plus dungeon, if you don't know this story, and they were short on the percentage to complete the dungeon when it came to clearing mobs. Well, he reached out to his GM friend, and his GM friend automatically eliminated a group of mobs, filling out their bar and helping them to complete that. I think it was a plus 23 key. Well, Blizzard conducted their investigation. As they mentioned, we internally monitored, they said, and confirmed the recent incident in which a World of Warcraft group gained an unfair advantage by abusing the abuse of access to development-only spells on the live realm. Our tools confirmed what was also surfaced in the community discussion, and we've investigated the incident carefully. We can confirm that this was the action of a single Blizzard employee in violation of our code of conduct. This employee no longer is with the company, effective immediately. We are also taking action against the player accounts who were complicit in the violation. So, yeah, there is live stuff on a stream where the player was asking for this help from the GM, and the GM actually went through with it, and yeah, they got fired. No surprise there. Players can get fired now? No. Players, it's not a player. It was a GM. A GM who helped some players. The players are going to be punished, evidently. I'm not sure how, if their accounts are going to be suspended for a little bit, or they're going to lose, obviously, they're going to lose credit for that key on their IO, because right now, it is actually more important than ever for end-of-season IO. Typically, it doesn't matter as much, but now we have the top 1% and the top 0.1% achievements occurring at the end of the season. So anything like a plus 23, obviously a key that high is putting you in that top 1%, potentially top 0.1% range, depending on what key levels you've done for your other dungeons as well. So this was a big deal, clearly a cheating scandal, and it looks like that GM no longer has a job at Blizzard. Interesting stuff there for sure. That is all for today. We'll continue to cover the news as things drop. Interesting stuff for sure. More 12.1 news, I'm sure, coming out next week. But for today, that is all in terms of news.